Darnell Washington becoming a member of the Dallas Cowboys is not just a typical offseason transaction, it's a potential spark that could redefine the way the Cowboys' offense operates, especially with Dak Prescott entering one of the most crucial stretches of his career. For fans, analysts, and football minds alike, this acquisition represents not only an upgrade in depth but a direct challenge to the traditional limitations of the tight end position in Dallas. When you examine the profile of Darnell Washington, it becomes immediately clear that we're not talking about a generic plug-and-play piece. Standing 6'7" and weighing in at over 260 pounds, Washington brings a rare physicality and athletic profile to the field that is hard to ignore. This is a guy who can pancake defensive ends one play, then line up in the slot and body up a safety on the next. And in a league that increasingly values hybrid weapons, tight ends who can serve as both sixth linemen and vertical threats, Washington checks all the boxes. What makes his fit in Dallas particularly intriguing is how his strengths align with the Cowboys' offensive needs. In recent seasons, Dak Prescott has operated behind an evolving offensive line, with play action and intermediate passing becoming more central to the game plan. While Jake Ferguson has emerged as a reliable and tough target, he lacks the elite physical upside that Washington brings. Luke Schoonmaker, a promising rookie, still hasn't shown enough to secure a long-term TE2 or TE1 role. Darnell Washington enters this mix with a high ceiling and a fresh opportunity to be part of something much bigger than just tight end depth. He could redefine the offense's shape. Prescott has always excelled when surrounded by playmakers. He trusts guys who can make contested catches, keep drives alive, and create mismatches. Washington could be exactly that, particularly in red zone scenarios where Dallas has historically struggled with efficiency. In the condensed part of the field, where windows are tight and defenders play aggressively, Washington's size and reach could be a difference maker. Imagine a 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. Prescott rolls out under pressure, and rather than forcing a tough ball to C.D. Lamb or George Pickens through traffic, he lofts a high fade to the back of the end zone. Washington, with his frame and wingspan, plucks it out of the air above 2 defenders. That's the kind of moment that can shift games, momentum, and even seasons. But even beyond the highlight potential, Washington offers something even rarer: versatility. He can line up in line, detach from the formation, serve as an H-back, or even motion pre-snap to confuse defenses. His background at Georgia showcased these tools and flashes, but the Steelers largely limited him to a blocking role due to their depth at tight end. Now, with a change of scenery and a new scheme, Washington might finally be given the chance to show the full extent of what he can do. And the Cowboys, who are always looking for an edge, could be the perfect team to unleash him. Chemistry is also a huge factor, and there's reason to believe Dak Prescott and Darnell Washington could develop it quickly. Both are professionals, students of the game, and known for their film study. Washington doesn't need 100 targets a season to be effective. He needs smart usage and the trust of his quarterback. If Prescott builds that connection with him in camp and preseason, we could see an immediate impact once the regular season begins. One of the things that stands out most about Washington is how dangerous he can be after the catch. While he may not be the fastest guy on the field, once he gets rolling with the ball, he's like a freight train. Defensive backs bounce off him, and linebackers struggle to bring him down one-on-one. That kind of yards after contact ability is rare at the tight end position and can turn a routine 8-yard gain into a game-breaking 30-yard play. And for an offense looking to keep up with the league's best in terms of explosive plays, that's a weapon worth investing in. There's also the mental aspect of adding a player like Washington. It sends a message. To the team, to the fans, to the division. The Cowboys are not content to just rely on what they have. They're actively looking for ways to improve, to get tougher, bigger, more dynamic. Adding a player with such a unique skill set and physical presence shows that they want to dominate both physically and strategically. And that could set the tone for the entire season. It also helps that Washington is still on a rookie contract, meaning Dallas gets all this upside at a fraction of the price it would cost to sign a veteran with comparable skills. In terms of roster construction, it's a low-risk, high-reward move. If he blossoms into a starter, the Cowboys have a long-term answer at tight end. If not, they still have Ferguson and others to hold down the fort. But the upside is what makes this story so compelling. Washington has already flashed in limited action what he's capable of. Now it's about opportunity and environment, and Dallas could be the perfect environment to finally see him thrive. Coaches and scouts often say that the NFL is about matchups. You want guys who force defensive coordinators to lose sleep. Darnell Washington, if developed properly, is exactly that kind of player. His presence forces safeties to come down, which opens up the deep ball. He forces linebackers to commit, which opens up drag routes and slants for other receivers. He creates problems for zone coverage schemes because his size allows him to post up in soft spots and win jump balls. All of this makes him a potential nightmare for opposing defenses, especially in the NFC East, where teams like the Eagles and Commanders pride themselves on physical defensive units. Against those kinds of opponents, Washington's toughness and length become even more valuable. There will, of course, be a learning curve. Washington has to work on refining his routes, improving his footwork, and sharpening his hands. He's had moments of inconsistency in college and in the NFL, and development won't happen overnight. But the Cowboys have the infrastructure to support that growth: strong coaching, veteran leadership, and an offense that doesn't need him to be the guy right away. That gives Washington the space to develop at the right pace while still contributing immediately in certain packages. It's rare that a player can contribute right away while still being considered a project, but Washington is one of those rare cases. For fans, this move brings excitement. Not just because of the player himself, but because of what he represents: creativity, ambition, upside. Cowboys fans have been clamoring for more dynamic weapons, and Washington could be just that. He may not have the name value of a Travis Kelce or George Kittle, but the raw materials are there. With the right coaching and usage, he could become one of the league's top mismatch creators at the position. And in a league where margins are razor thin and every possession matters, that could be the kind of difference that gets Dallas deeper into the playoffs, or even to the Super Bowl. In short, Darnell Washington joining the Dallas Cowboys is more than just another off-season headline. It's a calculated risk with the potential for massive reward. It's a strategic chess move in a league increasingly dominated by versatility and matchup exploitation. It's a gift to an already dangerous quarterback and a challenge to a conference full of strong defenses. And for Washington himself, it's a fresh start, a clean slate, and a golden opportunity to prove that he's not just a freak athlete but a complete tight end. Cowboys Nation should be excited not just because of what Washington is, but because of what he could become. If things click, we might look back on this move as the moment the Cowboys' offense became truly unstoppable.